Hi, hello everyone. And today we have an amazing, beautiful, young, vibrant lady with us, none other than Rumeza Fatima, who has made up to
Hello.
civil service examinations with rank 185. So it's again a wonderful moment for me as well because again she is hailing from the God's own country called as the state of Kerala, from the district called as Thrissur. So again, another female is hailing from there who has really explored a lot in her career as well, I can tell. So again, talking about Rumeza, she's a well studious girl. She's an amazing, gem of person as well as I know her. And Sumaya is somebody, I mean, Rumeza, sorry, not Sumaya, Rumeza is somebody who has even shown great in academics. And there is an important factor which I should say about her. That is, she was offered a job in the so-called multinational global company, that is Goldman Sachs, and she was an intern there, and then she even was offered a job. She rejected it completely, and she came to serve the country or the people, and she opted for civil service. So now we all know that getting a job in a private sector is something, yeah, we can earn like anything and all this stuff. But now she literally rejected that in such an MNC, come on, Goldman Sachs, and she came for this. And finally she made it up. So yes, we have this amazing, wonderful, vibrant young woman with us today. So yes, I welcome you, Rumeza, to this wonderful interview along with an academy. So this is Nisha Najumuddin, and my heartfelt congratulations actually from me and from my team for your wonderful achievement.
Thank you, Nisha, for that very kind introduction. I'm very thrilled to be here. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a great journey so far. I mean, the days of waiting and anxiety is finally over, and there's, as you can call it, there's light at the end of the tunnel kind of moment for me right now. My parents are thrilled. I come from a very small town called Guruvayur, and literally nobody has in recent history nobody has cleared the exam, and the people here, the community, all the cultural groups, everybody is super thrilled, and they've been showering me with so much love. I'm floored by all that they're doing to me right now. So it's a great place to be in currently.
Wonderful. So I can understand the happiness you have within yourself because it's not you just who won the examination, but then you literally made your family, your community, in fact, our community, I should say our community because I also belong to the same community, so are proud because breaking the stereotype or breaking the barrier, coming out of the shell is the difficult task. So literally you are one such example, hailing from such a community, such a background, and you have broken the glass ceilings and you're flying out in colors. And one such example is this examination which you cleared. So yes, Rumeza, so moving on to the questions which I've set for you, it's not any kind of big questions, but very simple yet enthusiastic questions. So civil service, we all know it's a long journey, right? So now the strategies each and everyone follow is different. So some people prefer for the coaching classes, some people prefer self-studies, etc., etc. So now apart from all these, though you go to coachings or whatever, there is something called as self-study. There is something called as
Yeah.
putting your heart and soul. So
Yeah.
would you tell me like what is that kind of special strategy, a unique strategy which enabled you to clear the examination compared to the others, because you would have heard a lot of people giving you advices, strategies, etc., etc. So what is your one message to the students, upcoming students?
So what I have to say is that once I was sure that I got the right guidance and I had a path cleared in front of me, what I did was I knew for a fact that the rest I have to do, even if, people around me are helping. So the first thing I did before entering full on into preparation was to find out how exactly to study. Because I knew that, when I was in college, we used to like wing it. We would be like pulling all nighters and then, going to the exam with groggy eyes. There were times when I even slept in my exam hall. So I knew that that kind of strategy is not going to work for civil services because it has to be sustainable, and then you have to like remember stuff for a really long period of time, right? So the first thing I did was I Googled up, how to study effectively, like what are the most scientifically proven methods to be efficient in what you do. So I found a lot of results, and I was able to incorporate some of them in my own strategy. These include stuff like, active recall and revision, and studying using proper technologies such as flashcards and the like. So I would say that this is the single biggest factor that's made a lot of difference in my preparation and helped
Great
me,
piece to hear.
clear it in my first attempt itself.
That's an amazing, because the people whom I've interviewed also, many of them cleared in their first attempt. So that is again a wonderful thing. So clearing in first attempt is something that's very difficult, but you people have made it up, showing that UPSC is again an exam. If you have the right strategy, right preparation, and right guide and mentor for you, yes, you can do it up. And that's what the people have shown here. So now, as you said, your preparation strategies, all these things help you a lot. Now, apart from that, for UPSC, a proper guide or a mentor is something which is very much important, right? Though the books are there with you, it's not like that 1,000 books can give you complete knowledge. That is, you have to filter
Exactly,
over.
exactly.
So, do you think there is a need for a proper guide or a mentor for UPSC as such? Matlab, somebody who can, apart from studies, who can keep motivating you, who can keep, making you feel that thirst of the examination. Yes, you have more to go.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's no doubt that you need mentors, both in, to guide you through the exam, which I had ample of them, mentors by way of my friends, my family, and my brother. So I'll tell you a small anecdote. Okay. So every day my brother would call me. Almost, towards the end of the day, he would be like, okay, Rumeza, so how do you rate your day? Like, how would you rate your day in terms of how you studied? Was it an 8 on 10? Was it a 6 on 10? Or was it, a 9 on 10? So this is something we used to do every single day. So this kind of motivated me to, give my 8 on 10 or 9 on 10 day after day after day. So that really made a difference and brought a lot more consistency in my overall preparation strategy.
Okay, you literally give priority for each and every day. Matlab, every
Exactly.
day was like a new beginning, and that new beginning will have a fulfilled purpose. So that's a wonderful strategy you followed. I'm happy to know that, Rumeza. And yes, I can see that's why you are flying out in colors now. So now, private and public sector, they are two different sectors. We all know that, right? Obviously, the benefits you get in government and also in the private sector is totally different. So though you were offered a job there, you left it all the way and came for UPSC. So what is that one factor which triggered in you? Yes, I should go and serve my nation or be a civil servant. What is that one factor which motivated or which kindled in you to become a civil service officer?
So I was in my second year when I got selected for doing an internship at the reputed Goldman Sachs, which is an American MNC. We had amazing pay for an intern. And then after the end of the internship, I was offered. But I realized that with the job I did there, it was actually related to private wealth management as an individual. So when I sat back and looked back, I realized that this is not really something that that kind of struck a chord with me. And it did not bring this kind of social change, which I was so vocal about when I was in my college, when I talk to my friends, when we talk about issues that are plaguing us, and we talk about issues about women and global poverty and the like. So I thought that even though I'm extremely thankful for the company for giving me all the exposure and all the experience and meeting some amazing people, I realized that at the end of the day, my true calling lied in social services and being with the Indian civil service. So I decided to take the plunge and not take up the offer that they offered me.
Okay, that's amazing. So again, that not everybody does this. Very few people, because at the end of the day, it's said that the world runs in money. People say that to choose between money and power, it's very difficult, because some people say choose power because they think that yes, through power you can earn money and you can make a great difference, because money alone cannot give you everything. That is always there. So that's an amazing, again, an inspiring thing which I got from you. So now, talking about the UPSC strategy preparation on, I know that you hail from economics background, again, the same background where I belong to, and because I'm also an economics and current affairs faculty as well. So now I know it's a wonderful subject. In fact, it has a lot more things to do. So probably your options was also economics, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So now talking about the optional part. So not everybody opt for economy. Very few people does it, and people who really, some people who have the background of economy, some people who are totally out of the background even come for it out of interest. So what is your strategy, or what did you feel when you took economy as an optional? Did it really help you to crack the examination? Yes.
So to be very, very honest, I doubted myself a lot when I took up economics. A lot of people said, no, don't go for it. It's very tough. There is literally no people to help you. There were, especially from where I come from, there were no teachers, no institutes that offered coaching, no test series whatsoever. But then I realized I always loved economics. From when I was a student in school, I always loved the subject. I would spend hours reading about it. I read all kinds of popular, economics books and all of that. And I knew that it's something that I would like to spend a lot of time doing. If it were not for civil services, I would have pursued my academic career in economics. So I thought that if I took something else, I would not be doing justice to my beautiful degree, which I got from my beautiful college and all the amazing teachers I got there. I know it sounds very ideal, but being so naive at 21, this was one of the thoughts that actually motivated me to go ahead with economics. I doubted myself a lot, even after the prelims results came. When I started studying for mains, I was like really tense at so many points in life. But what I did was I took it one step, one day at a time, like I said it earlier. Slowly by slowly, I made, I was able to go and write the exam with about 70% confidence. And thankfully, on the day of the exam, I found that on paper one, which is the technical aspect of economics, I found that they had a lot of questions which I had prepared from. So I felt really thankful and happy while writing the exam. And I would say it was the first time, in all of mains that I had that kind of a feeling while writing.
That josh and that happiness while writing it. Amazing. That will even
while writing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's an amazing thing to know, because many students who take optional as economy, they do come and tell me, ma'am, we are really a little skeptical to go with this, but what is your take on this? So again, even I, during my preparation and even for my Indian economic service, I say economics is a wonderful subject, probably because I'm doing PhD in that or whatever. So, but people from that, not from that background, still they're a little skeptical. But I do tell them it's an amazing subject if you really work on it. It is nothing out of the box or anything. It is about connecting to a practical life by understanding the concepts. A very simple stuff. So now, since you are another example, taking economy optional, you've made it up. So that's another kudos to you, Rumeza. I'm so happy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's even a proud moment for me to say that, see, come on, so many people have got the service through economics. And that even when you told me that while writing the exam, you felt so happy. I'm hearing somebody for the first time telling me that while writing the exam, I love the subject. Oh my goodness, what is that? Amazing, Rumeza. So these are very simple little things which we, really enjoy from our heart, right? Yeah.
Yes,
so now in your
journey,
very much. Exactly. So in your journey, you know that when you thought of becoming a civil servant, you have your prelims, your mains, and of course the interview. There are 3 stages. So for the prelims, it is a multiple choice questions where, again, you have no option like your mains to write. Either 1 or 2. That's all. That's all.
Yeah.
So now, what is the strategy or what did you really do to crack the prelims examination? Because it's not an easy task. I know that.
Yes, it is. It is.
That one.
I would say.
Yeah, please.
I would say prelims was one of the toughest parts for me as far as I was concerned, because initially when I started taking the test series at my institute, I found that I scored 50, 60 points, 50, 60 marks as I started. But slowly and gradually, I made it a point to improve after every exam possible. They helped me a lot with a lot of tricks that you can use with which to solve prelims, such as the method of elimination and guessing with an educated guess. How can you cross out some options from the answers? And then most importantly, I would say that, my mentors gave me the confidence to take risks, because I was a very risk averse person, which made me, at the end of the day, attempt a very, very low number of questions in total. With that, Rumeza, listen, you do have a very broad and good knowledge base. So this is the point where which you should start taking risks and, make educated guesses to crack prelims. So that gave me the boost of confidence, and I attempted almost 90 plus questions on my actual prelims for GS1, and I think that sort of did it for me.
Helped you a lot. Wonderful. So now another quality which you got from UPSC is that somebody is risk averse, was going for risk. Come on, that's an amazing quality, because accepting challenges and taking risk is not for everybody. So once you're ready for that, come on, that shows that you are ready to overcome all the challenges, because it is said that confidence is not knowing all the questions or answers. It is about when you start, questioning why you didn't know that, and then that particular answer, and now you're going and finding it out. That's a real confidence, right? If you know everything, that is not confidence. When you make mistakes, that's the whole point. So that's what I got from you again. So now again, prelims is wonderful. So now you came to your next stage, that is mains, which is again the written part. So now there is something called as critical analysis, then some keywords factors, right? In your examination. So now, do you really think that for mains examination, having a vast knowledge is important, or to the point knowledge is required? Because many people keep reading a lot of books.
So I'll tell you what my philosophy was, right? So I am a person who has read a lot ever since I was a child. But I realized that when you're going into civil service prep, the point is to read to the point and, to be able to recollect how much ever possible. So I would say that in all of my life, the least number of extra books I read was during my 2 year of preparation for civil services. So my philosophy is that less is more. Less is always more. That is, the less you study, the more you remember, and the more you can reproduce in your paper. So my philosophy was always to refer and go back to the same sources I did time and again, instead of referring to, multiple sources regarding the same topic. It will give you a false sense of, feeling that, acha, I have looked at so many sources, so I will potentially remember all of them. But you can never be more wrong.
Yeah, that's a wrong conception. Wonderful. Yeah.
So what I did was, I realized this from very early on. So what I did is, I took simple sources for each and every topic possible, even if it is economics or, polity. I took simple, I just stuck to Lakshmikant and then went back to it multiple times, maybe, 10, 15 times.
Lakshmikant is the god of polity for polity books. For economics also, yeah, for economy, which one you suggest actually? Don't tell me the normal names. Which
So to be honest, I didn't, prepare for GS3 per se, because I was already doing my optional, right? So I would tell you what my optional books were. So are you referring to Indian economy or the theoretical part?
Everything. We can go for Indian economy and for the other parts also.
All right. So for Indian economy, I referred to a lot of traditional books such as Uma Kapila. Uma Kapila is very famous. Her books are amazing. She's an amazing author.
She goes like a story, yeah.
Yes. So I referred to her book from cover to cover. That's one book called Performance in Policy. And then I did a bit from Dattan Sundaram, etc. And then for Indian economy, you always have to keep yourself updated. So it's always about, looking at recent current affairs. Even current affairs magazines are very good. Even compilations made by reputed institutes in the civil service circles are also very good when you want to prepare for Indian economy part. For the other part, I stuck to traditional books, Richard Freund for macroeconomics, and our favorite Ahuja. You will remember Ahuja.
No? Obviously. Richard Freund and Ahuja, all these books again are for economics. For micro perspective, a lot of books are there again. Yeah.
Yes. Ahuja and the big book for micro.
Okay.
Big book for micro. I refer to Jingen for development economics.
Yeah, Jingen.
And
we actually cut copy paste from a lot of sources and make it very simple to the aspirants. Yeah.
Very simple. It's a very beautiful book. Very beautiful book. Yeah. And then I did two Salvatore
diagrams for micro, because Quotient is considered to be the holy book for diagrams. Quotient is another book which I normally prefer to students. Yeah.
So for market economy and like monopolistic competition, for all of that, Quotient is very important. So I referred in specific parts. I referred from Quotient. And for international economics, it was full Salvatore and a bit of Paul Krugman here and there.
Salvatore is always, again, just like how you said for Lakshmikant polity, again, for international economics, Salvatore, amazing.
Salvatore.
Also, so that is something which is an Appliad. Appliad is actually an amazing book, but not everybody can study from that because it's not very high language. Yeah, it's not that simplified. So Salvatore
Appliad, I actually did it from my college, so I referred to it every now and then.
I know, because again, you're from Stella Maris, so definitely they'll make you study everything like that in Chennai, right? I know the college has its standard anyways. So happy to know your sources and happy to know that you have really, taken or selected books based on topics. It's not like you relied on one particular book. It's like each topic, which book is better, which is simplified. So that's an amazing strategy from you, Rumesa, which is even the right strategy, I'll say, because as a teacher, even I really refer my students the same thing. So you are on the right track, in fact. So now, apart from all this, now comes your interview. I know that interview is something where we have to be very much, what to say, very much, we have to be very confident. We have to really think and say. We cannot just say what we want because it's the most important part, right? So because many people miss out there only. So for interview, since you're from economy background, definitely the interview panel, they will not come and ask you regarding the theories of economy or anything as such. So because some people have a conception that if they are from one particular background, they will get theoretical questions from there, but they do not understand that interview panel always tests you with what you talk and from what background you hail. So what was your experience in interview?
So I would say that it was a very, very beautiful, very professional experience, unlike any of the mock interviews you go for. So until the day of the interview, you have a lot of notions about how the actual interview would look like. But it was nothing like that. It was beautiful. It was chaired by Sujata Mehta ma'am, IFS. And in fact, the first question she asked was, why did you quit Goldman Sachs? It was about why I quit the job and about that. And from then on, it took off in the direction of economics. So around 80% of the questions were related to economics, a bit of theory, and mostly, centering around Indian economy problems. They asked me about NPAs, how they were caused.
Because that's the about human discussion. Exactly. It's affecting the entire economy and the banking sector as a whole. Wonderful. Yeah.
Yes. They asked me about the problems with human development, literacy rate. Okay. They asked me something with reference to my home state, Kerala. They were like, we all have heard of Kerala model of development, but what are its pitfalls? And
that's an amazing question. So you can really highlight about the model by Mehboob Haq and Amartya Sen. Sorry, the model by Amartya Sen alone. Yeah. So obviously, when you said about Kerala model, I think you would have made a comparison to Gujarat model by Jagdish Bhagwati as well, right?
I did not make a comparison per se, but I did mention Amartya Sen. I mentioned Abhijit Banerjee too, because he was trending at that time.
Poverty, yeah, the same for the award for that. So that's an amazing thing to know that. So taking economics, you can connect that to the real life as well, because economics is something
exactly. Very much
you can connect. It's an amazing subject. So happy because I am also from the same field, so I can understand that feeling of Josh when you say.
I know. I also mentioned, some theories. In fact, one of the interviewers, he asked me directly, so have you heard of Malthusian theory? How can you compare it with Indian story like that? And one of them asked me about development and urbanization. In fact, my chairman asked me. So I was able to quote Myrdal's backwash effect and all of that. So I think that made me sound smart.
Obviously, because the backwash effect, the forward effect, all these things now, whatever you studied, now in the interview, in a very practical way, you're able to connect it. That is a real source of study. Whether you study economy, history, geography, polity, whatever. At the end of the day, when you're able to connect that with the practical life, that shows that you're very well understood the subject. That is, I'm so happy that you didn't study, you didn't mug up anything. I can see from the way you talk, you really kind of gave the interview, really, took this subject with whole of your heart and soul, that you put into practicality. So amazing, sir, amazing to know that. Such kind of knowledge will be lasting forever. It's not just a bookish knowledge, it's about the practical stuff, right? So I'm so happy for that, spreading such positive vibe. So happy to see that, such kind of attitude as well. So now, okay, your interview part is there. So now you got everything. So what is that one feeling you had once you heard that, yes, I have cleared the examination? What is that one feeling you had immediately? Just in one word.
So I got to know when my friend called me. So I was like, no, you're kidding. I wasn't expecting the results until, 4 p.m. on the 4th of August, because everybody was saying, at around evening it will come. I was like, is it fake? Are you really, really sure? And then my hands were shaking so much when I opened the PDF myself. My mom was right next to me. When she saw the results, she got so emotional, and I got so emotional as well. So it was a very, very emotional moment for me, to be honest.
So I hope you're going to really...
after all, they've seen me toil, and I've seen my parents also taking a lot of stress from my part. So it was very, very emotional. And even now, congratulating me, giving me gifts. So it's a very wonderful place to be in.
I know, that's all your hard work has been rewarded now. Because UPSC is not just about hard work; it's about hard work plus smart work. Somebody who know to smartly climb the ladder of success will only fit into that destination. Otherwise, though you work hard, also you'll fall apart. That's a reality, and you guys have really proved it out with your hard work plus smart work as strategy, right? So now, Rumeza, the next thing which I would like to know from you is, we have heard about thousands of test series. For a UPSC aspirant, test series is very important, right from prelims, mains, interviews, mock interview stuff. So what is your perspective on that? Or what do you think? How often should an aspirant take test series with regard to 3 phases of the examination: prelims, mains, interview?
So I think test series is very important, especially for mains and for prelims. So aspirants, tend to do it a lot for prelims, but I think somewhere along the line, they tend to skip answer writing, especially for mains. They think, they won't be able to write it. They wait for the right moment when they've studied everything. So the aspirants must make sure that they do it for all the 3 stages. So I was very lucky to have, very good quality test series. So that helped me a lot. I would say just stick to one test series, and, you go according to their schedule and their syllabus and everything else.
You can, that consistency will enable you to improve, right?
Yes.
So it's indeed a great pleasure to know so many things from you, from this beautiful, young, vibrant female who is right in front of me. So now, current affairs, since we're talking about current affairs, what is your take? Because different aspirants have different visions. Some people who are interviewed, some said that reading newspaper is a must, and some people followed that. Whereas some said that I have literally not read newspapers. I only prepared the highlights. That is even more interesting to know. Come on. And what is your take on that? Because current affairs you cannot avoid, be it the subjects or the individual part of it. It is very important. So how did you prepare the current affairs? What did you do to memorize it? Because we're not robots, we're human beings. So memorizing is something even more difficult. So how did you prepare current affairs on a daily basis, and what did you do to memorize that as well, so that you will be able to produce in a better way for the examination?
So I will tell you. So every day I would read. I'm a very pro newspaper person. I've been reading way before I started preparation. I mean, it has been a part of my life. Being a person, a person who lives in a society, I think it is imperative that everybody reads the newspaper. So I'm that kind of a person. So I would religiously take notes on my Evernote. I used to maintain current affairs notes on my phone app. And Evernote, I would, divide it according to the multiple topics. And I had really organized notes, which I'm very proud of. And what I would do is, at the end of every month, I would depend on compilations as well to get into the nitty-gritty details, especially for prelims. So my notes that I made were specifically more catered to mains, and, all the good sentences, all the good codes, opinions, good statistics, infographics, all of that I collected for a mains point of view. And for prelims point of view, I depended on current affairs compilations. So it was, it was a bit of both, and I would say I had the best of both worlds. So in order to memorize it, I would go back to these notes time and again. I would sometimes use flashcards to study them. And I would also try and link this thing in my head and, try to create a skeleton of thoughts. So it all stays in place. So I would say that was my current affairs strategy.
Wonderful. So that's an amazing strategy from you as well, because everybody has a different strategy to follow, right? So we have had a discussion on all this important stuffs which we literally, an aspirant should know. So now tell me quickly, what comes to your mind, some important points or a short message to the upcoming aspirants, because you're going to serve the country. The Rumeza before clearing service and Rumeza after clearing service is different. I know that. And again, once you get your training at Labasna, and then when you get posted in your cadres, your responsibility changes. So now people say that there's a normal myth that UPSC is something which is only for the strong-hearted, which is for people. Yeah, it's all, again, that's a myth. I would recommend people that somebody who's faint-hearted should literally go for UPSC. That will make you more strong-hearted. Just like how you said, you were not willing to take risk, but now you are ready for that. So that's an amazing thing, right? So what is the few things which you would like to share to the upcoming aspirants during the preparation and how they should be? It's not just about studies, but something else also. What is it?
Yes,
like, definitely. 5 points. Let's go like that.
Okay, I would start off with, first point is getting the right guidance. Make sure you're at the right place and asking the right people. Don't just go about asking any random people. So many people will be so willing to give you free advice, which may or may not, really
You're not
affect
going to
you.
take any free advices. You keep it to yourself.
Yes. Second point is there is no replacement to consistency, discipline, and hard work. This is my second point, because consistency is the most important. I've seen people who get really motivated and put like 12 hours a day, and the next day they just don't study at all. I think what is more important is, even if you're studying just for a couple of hours a day, make sure you do it consistently and every day. The third one is, try to learn from others' mistakes. We've seen so many aspirants making a lot of mistakes, throughout their preparation, and that's potentially or probably the reason why it takes 5 or 6 attempts before they clear the exam. So I would say look into their mistakes and make sure you make course corrections every now and then. Every 1 month, look back into your own preparation and see where you have problems with. So I think that would seal the deal for you.
Wonderful. So that's an amazing message you've given to the aspirants as well. Vernia, that is true. What you said is true. Consistency is everything. Because once you're consistent in anything, you develop that becomes a habit of you. It is said that 21 days of doing something regularly without a break develops a habit. So obviously learning 21 days continuously, be it for 1 hour or a couple of hours or even 3 hours, will automatically comes to your habit. It becomes a habit for you. So an amazing thing. And the next thing which I noted from you is you are so much with so much of vibe, matlab positive vibe, that it's difficult to shatter you. So there have been situations where people would have comment told you, right? No, you cannot do this. Why would you go for all this, leaving this job? Are you mad? You first, kind of, why do you want to waste time like this? People would have come and asked you that, right? But then you were so strong in your feet. No, I'm not going to listen to all those things. So how did you feel when 1,000 people came and criticized you for leaving your so-called private job and opting for this civil service?
So I definitely did hear a lot of that, but I would say that it is not. I was not initially very strong-hearted, and it was all thanks to my family and my brother and my sister who supported me. They were full on they shared my own vision, so they knew that this is something I can achieve. So they continued to push me towards that, and they sort of cushioned me from all the negative vibes that was happening. And on a later stage, while preparation was going on, I did face many comments from people saying, "Arey, you are just, it's just your first attempt. You can't do much anyway." So that was something I had to overcome all by myself. So I would say to myself, "No, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna prove you all wrong."
Wonderful. And yes, you have proved them wrong. Come on. That's a kudos and hats off to you. And so much love to you as well, Rumesa, for such a wonderful, positive, enthusiastic attitude you have. Because I hope that people like you are needed for our nation. And now, from here, when you go to the next step of serving the nation, instead of becoming a good IAS or a civil servant, rather, I would tell that I would love to see you as an efficient bureaucrat who can contribute actively in the process of nation building and who can really hold the hands of so many people to do the same.
Yes.
It's like passing on to another generation, you say, right? So I think a female like you can definitely do that. And yes, you have all sort of qualities in you as well. And I can see that beautiful smile of you as well. So tell me about one thing, Rumesa. WhatsApp, Facebook, and other social, media networks. Do you think that we have to stay completely away from that while in preparation? I think that's a kind of myth, right?
Yes. So I did definitely cut down on my use everywhere, but you can use it to your advantage also. For example, there are so many pages on Twitter where you can get really good current affairs with regards to science and technology. For example, you can follow the official page of NASA and you get real-time updates about all their missions. Similarly with ISRO, many institutes which are devoted to protection of environment. So I used to do that whenever I was having a free time. So that gave me the feel that I was still a part of society. And at the same time, I made sure that even that time was productive by looking at all the good stuff related to which could potentially help me in my exam.
Wonderful. So out of all these subjects of UPSC, starting from history, geography, polity, art and culture, economy, environment, etc., which would you suggest, including current affairs, which would you suggest to the upcoming aspirants to focus more? matlab, which will have more priority for the prelims
Focus
of
more
India
on.
from your point of view? From your point of view.
I would say we should stick to the subjects which are traditionally asked a lot. For example, the reason why I think I could clear prelims more was because there were a lot of questions on economics, and economics was my strong area, right? Secondly, I prepared a lot from for polity. So polity again was asked. I think around 15 questions were asked every year.
Because both these
So if you
subjects are connected to current affairs also. That is the next
exactly,
advantage.
and the third one is in modern Indian history. So these three are fail proof. That is, when you study, you will definitely get results. But and environment as well. But for some
Exactly.
subjects such as art and culture, it tends to be slightly unpredictable and it's very huge, and you may not be able to cover the entire syllabus.
So did you
So
cover
I would
the
say
syllabus?
no, definitely not.
I
Definitely
know,
not.
because even the other
It's
interviews what I did also, people were telling 50% was not covered, but they
yes,
were the right strategy. That is the whole point.
yes. So, but whatever I did cover, I was very thorough with. That was what made the difference.
അതെ ഉള്ളത് കൊണ്ട് തൃപ്തിപ്പെടണം അല്ലേ?
തൃപ്തിപ്പെടണം, അതെ.
Exactly. It's an amazing thing, amazing thing. So standing in this, limelight of getting a lot of applauses from people across the globe, I know it's a proud moment for you. So it was great having you on board, Rumeza Fatima, who is Air 185 with us, that is with me as well as an academy. And thank you so much for giving such an amazing interview. And this interview is something like, I think I got to know more about you. It's not just a strategy sharing, but as a person, you could share your viewpoints and which, come on, the aspirants or the audience, when they're seeing that, they'll understand. It's not just about books or about strategies or about PDF. It's about something else. Everybody is different, right? So
yes,
you, me,
much.
everybody has a different strategy. See, you may prefer to study at night. I may prefer to study in the morning hours. So now it's about how we are putting that into proper place, what matters a lot.
Yes.
So
yes.
thank you so much, Rumeza, for coming with us. And I think such an amazing person you are, and you have way more to go. Come on, keep going, and I should come on, see you in even more greater heights. And I'll be proud to say that, come on, she's my junior as well because she's again from economy. Anna?
Yes.
I know
very
you'll
much.
do great. You'll do great in your postings. May God bless you with all the, from your heart, all the wishes for you. And me and my team at An Academy is so privileged to have you on board for this amazing conversation and interview with you. So thank you so much, Rumeza, for coming with us.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful message. Hoping to see you rocking and contributing great towards the pro India. So Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.
Bye. Jai Hind.